I'm Marcus Chen, 24 years old. 3 months ago, at my parents' 40th wedding anniversary party at the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco, my older brother Daniel stood up in front of San Apeti guests and said, "Let's be honest, while I've been building Dad's real estate empire, Marcus has been playing entrepreneur with his pretend company in Mom's garage." Everyone laughed. What Daniel didn't know was that his real company, Chen Properties, had been surviving for the past 6 years solely because of a silent partnership with my pretend company, TechVault Solutions, and I was about to pull the plug. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I continue, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely want to know how this story ends. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. Now let me take you back to where this all began. The story really starts 15 years ago when I was 19 and Daniel was 23. We grew up in Palo Alto, California, Silicon Valley royalty, if you want to call it that. Our father, Robert Chen, had built Chen Properties from a single apartment complex into a Bay Area commercial real estate powerhouse, worth roughly $400 by 2010. Daniel was groomed from birth to take over private schools, Stanford MBA, internships at Goldman Sachs. He was the golden child and everyone knew it. Me, I was the creative one. That's code for the disappointing one. I went to UC Berkeley for computer science, which my father called playing with toys. I lived in a shared house in Oakland with 5 other students. I ate ramen 4 nights a week. Daniel drove a BMW 7 Series that Dad bought him for his 12th birthday. I took the BART. The dynamic was set early. Thanksgiving 2009, I was a sophomore. I mentioned at dinner that I was working on data encryption software with 2 classmates. "That's nice, Marcus," my mother, Linda, said in that tone that means let's move on. "Daniel, tell everyone about the Embarcadero project." Daniel spent 45 minutes explaining a commercial lease deal. Everyone was fascinated. My encryption project never came up again. In 2011, I graduated and started TechVault Solutions with my college partners, Priya Sharma and James Liu. We developed enterprise-level data security software that used blockchain technology before blockchain was mainstream. We operated out of Priya's garage in Fremont. We had $15,000 in combined savings and a dream. My family thought I was delusional. "When are you going to get a real job?" my father asked at Sunday dinners, which I attended less and less frequently. "This is a real job," I'd say. "You're 23 years old working out of a garage," Daniel would interject. Dad built a company worth hundreds of millions. Maybe listen to him. By 2013, Daniel was officially vice president of Chen Properties. He got married to Vanessa Whitmore, a marketing executive whose family owned vineyards in Napa at the Fairmont Hotel. The wedding cost $40,000. I was invited but not asked to be in the wedding party. Daniel's Stanford fraternity brothers were his groomsmen. I brought my girlfriend at the time, Rachel, who taught 2nd grade. During the reception, Vanessa's mother asked what I did. "I run a tech startup," I said. "Oh, how quaint," she replied, already looking past me toward someone more important. TechVault landed its first major client in 2004, a regional bank that paid a $208 for a custom security system. Priya, James, and I were ecstatic. We celebrated with champagne that cost $20 a bottle because we thought that was expensive. I told my parents. My mother said, "That's wonderful, honey." My father said, "Let me know when you break $1 million. Daniel made $50,000 that year as VP plus bonuses. He bought a house in Atherton for $3.2 million. The down payment was a gift from our parents. I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Hayward and drove a 2007 Honda Civic. The pattern continued. TechVault grew steadily. By 2016, we had 23 employees and annual revenue of $4.7 million. We moved into a real office in San Jose. We were profitable, expanding, hiring. At family dinners, which I attended maybe 6 times a year, by then the conversation was always the same. Daniel closed the Oakland warehouse deal. $20 million property. Daniel negotiated with the city council. Daniel's being featured in the Bay Area Business Journal. If anyone asked about me, I'd say, TechVault is doing well. We just signed with a Fortune 500 client. And my father would say, "That's good, Marcus. When you're ready for a real career in real estate, let me know." The thing is, I'd stopped needing their validation. TechVault was my family now. Priya, James, and our growing team, we were building something revolutionary. By 2017, we had partnerships with 8 banks, 3 insurance companies, and 2 major hospital systems. Our revenue hit $800 million. Chen Properties, meanwhile, was struggling. The commercial real estate market was shifting. Competition was fierce. In late 2017, my father called me a rare occurrence. "Marcus, I need to talk to you about something," he said. "Daniel mentioned you work in security software, data encryption and cybersecurity, yes. We've had some issues. Break-ins at 3 properties, digital security breaches, our current system is outdated. Could your company take a look?" This was the first time my father had ever asked me for anything professionally. "I'd be happy to," I said. "I'll have Priya put together a proposal." We did more than a proposal. We conducted a full security audit of Chen Properties' 7 commercial buildings. Their digital infrastructure was a disaster, a patchwork of systems from different vendors, none of them talking to each other, all of them vulnerable. We submitted a comprehensive plan, $2.8 million, to overhaul everything: physical security, digital systems, data management, the works. Daniel called me personally. "Marcus, this is insane. $2.8 million? For what? Some cameras and software?" "For protecting $400 worth of assets and all your tenants' data," I said. "But if you think it's too expensive, you're welcome to go with someone else." I half expected them to do exactly that. Instead, 2 weeks later, my father called back. "We'll do it, but Daniel wants to negotiate the price." We settled on $200. The contract was signed in January 2018. TechVault spent 6 months overhauling Chen Properties' entire security infrastructure. We did excellent work, perhaps our best project to date. But here's what I didn't know at the time: Chen Properties was in worse shape than anyone realized. Daniel had made some catastrophically bad investment decisions. He'd overleveraged 3 properties, betting that the market would keep climbing. When it stagnated in 2018, Chen Properties was suddenly carrying $89 million in debt, with several tenants threatening to leave due to security concerns. Our security overhaul saved them, literally. Within 6 months of implementation, tenant retention shot up 34%. 2 major tech companies signed long-term leases specifically citing our security systems. Chen Properties' property values stabilized. My father called me in August 2018. "Marcus, I want to propose something. Would TechVault consider a partnership with Chen Properties? Ongoing security management for all our properties?" "What kind of partnership?" I asked. "We need reliable, cutting-edge security. You need consistent revenue. What if we sign a long-term contract? 5 years, with renewal options. $1.2 million annually for comprehensive security management across all Chen Properties." I discussed it with Priya and James. It was a good deal: consistent revenue, prestigious local client, room to grow. We agreed. The contract was signed September 2008. It was structured as a silent partnership. TechVault would provide all services, but Chen Properties would market it as their proprietary security system. My father wanted it that way. "Better for business," he said. I didn't care about the credit. I cared about the revenue and the work. What I didn't know, what I wouldn't learn until much later, was that this partnership wasn't just helpful to Chen Properties. It was essential. Without TechVault's security systems and the tenant confidence they brought, Chen Properties would have collapsed by 2019. But at family dinners, Daniel still made jokes. "How's the garage startup, Marcus?" This was 2019. We had 6 employees in an office in San Jose with exposed brick and a foosball table, still playing computer games. We'd just signed a contract with Kaiser Permanente worth $8.3 million. Must be nice not having real pressure. Dad and I are managing 9 figures in assets. Our annual revenue was $21 million. I stopped going to family dinners altogether. I sent gifts for birthdays and Christmas. I was polite at weddings and funerals. But I was done seeking approval from people who'd never give it. I know some of you watching have been through something similar. If this is resonating with you, drop a comment below, let me know you're here. And if you want to know what happened next, because trust me, this gets intense, make sure you're subscribed. In 2020, during the pandemic, everything changed for everyone. Chen Properties took a massive hit. Commercial real estate cratered as companies went remote. They couldn't collect rent from 40% of their tenants. My father and Daniel had to defer $1 million in mortgage payments. TechVault, conversely, exploded. Companies suddenly needed robust remote security, encrypted communications, secure data access. We couldn't hire fast enough. Our revenue jumped to $89 million. We raised $45 million in Series B funding in January 2021. Valuing the company at $28 million. We moved into a new headquarters in Mountain View, a beautiful building with 24,000 square feet, a rooftop garden and an on-site gym. We hired a CFO, a CMO, and expanded our engineering team to 140 people. Forbes featured us in their Most Innovative Cybersecurity Companies issue in March 2020. There was a photo of me, Priya, and James in our conference room, standing in front of a screen showing a blockchain encryption model. My mother texted me, "We saw the article. So proud." My father called, "Congratulations, Marcus. Very impressive." Daniel sent nothing. At Easter dinner 2021, which I attended because my grandmother was there and I adored her, Daniel was quieter than usual. The conversation turned to business. "How are things at Chen Properties?" my grandmother asked. "Challenging," my father admitted. "The market's been tough, but we're holding steady." "Thanks in part to your security systems, right, Robert?" my grandmother said. "Didn't Marcus's company do all that?" There was a pause. Then my father said, "We have an excellent security infrastructure, yes. Not a mention of Tech Vault, not a mention of me." Daniel jumped in. "The real challenge is finding good tenants in this market. I've been negotiating with 3 different companies. It's exhausting." I said nothing. My grandmother squeezed my hand under the table. By 2022, Tech Vault was a juggernaut. Revenue hit $3 million. We had 340 employees across 3 offices: Mountain View, Austin, and Boston. We were in acquisition talks with 2 competitors. Private equity firms were circling, offering valuations north of $100 million. Chen Properties, meanwhile, was barely surviving. The commercial real estate market had partially recovered, but Daniel had made more bad bets. He'd invested heavily in office space, just as remote work became permanent for many companies. They were hemorrhaging money, and here's what I learned later. The only division of Chen Properties that was consistently profitable from 2022 was their security and tenant retention, which was entirely dependent on Tech Vault's systems and ongoing management under our contract. Our partnership contract was up for renewal in September 2022. My father called in July. "Marcus, we need to discuss the contract renewal." "Of course, we've been happy with the partnership. We're prepared to offer the same terms, $1 annually. Actually, we were hoping to negotiate a reduction. The market's been tough. Could you do Otter Haven?" I paused. Tech Vault was worth hundreds of millions. They were asking for its 33% discount on a contract that represented less than 0.4% of our annual revenue. "Dad, our costs have gone up. Inflation alone." "I understand. But family should help family. This is important to us." That word. "Family, let me talk to my partners," I said. Priya was direct. "Marcus, they're taking advantage of you. Our contract is already underpriced for the level of service we provide. We should be charging them $2 million. James agreed. "They've been dismissive of you for years. Why give them a discount?" I thought about it. Then I said, "Because I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it because it's a good contract, and I won't let old wounds affect business decisions." We renewed at any offer $1,000, split the difference. My father said, "Thank you, Marcus. This means a lot." Daniel never acknowledged it. In March 2023, Tech Vault was approached by Fortress Capital, a private equity firm, with an acquisition offer, $1.8 billion. Priya, James, and I spent 2 months in negotiation. We ultimately declined the acquisition but accepted a strategic investment, $318 million for a 15% stake, valuing Tech Vault at $2.2 billion. The deal was finalized in June 2020. Forbes ran a cover story. "The Quiet Billion-Dollar Empire: How Tech Vault Became Silicon Valley's Secret Weapon." The article detailed our history, our client list, our technology. It mentioned that I'd started the company in a garage 12 years earlier with 2 partners. It called us the most important cybersecurity company you've never heard of. My parents called immediately. "Marcus, we're so proud. A billion-dollar company." $2.5 billion, I corrected. "We always knew you'd be successful," my mother said. "Did you?" I thought. "Did you really?" Daniel called 3 days later. "Hey, congrats on the Forbes thing. Pretty crazy." "Thanks. So, listen, I wanted to talk to you about something. Chen Properties is looking to expand our tech infrastructure. I was thinking maybe Tech Vault could do a partnership thing. You know, like an investment opportunity for you." "Daniel, Tech Vault already has a contract with Chen Properties. We've been managing your security for 5 years. There was a pause. "Wait, what?" "The security of overhaul in 2018. The ongoing management contract. That's us." Another pause. "Dad handles those contracts. I didn't realize that was your company." I felt something shift in my chest. My own brother didn't even know my company had been keeping his afloat. "Well, now you know," I said. "The contract's up for renewal again in September. We'll send over terms." "Right, yeah, cool." We hung up. I sat in my office, 18th floor, views of the mountains and felt oddly empty. My parents announced in July 2023 that their 40th wedding anniversary would be a major celebration. They rented the ballroom at the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco for October 14th. They invited 200 people. It was going to be the social event of the season. I was invited, obviously. I RSVP'd yes. I even offered to help pay for it, a billionaire's gesture toward parents who'd never believed in him. They declined, saying Daniel was handling everything. Of course he was. The invitation said cocktail attire. I bought a Tom Ford Navy suit for Ponalaladan. I bought my girlfriend Natasha a trauma surgeon at Stanford Hospital a Versace dress. We looked good. The event was spectacular. The Ritz ballroom was decorated with thousands of white orchids and roses. There was a live band, a champagne fountain, a raw bar with oysters flown in from Maine. The whole thing probably cost $100 minimum. I arrived with Natasha at 6 p.m. My parents greeted us warmly. My mother hugged me. My father shook my hand. Glad you're here, son. Daniel was there with Vanessa and their 2 kids, Madison 7 and Cooper 4. He nodded at me. Marcus, good to see you. You too. The evening progressed. Dinner was served. Speeches began. My father spoke first, thanking everyone for coming, talking about 40 years of marriage and partnership. Then he talked about his business, his legacy, his pride in what he'd built. And I couldn't have done it without my son Daniel, he said, who has taken Chen Properties to new heights. He's everything I hoped he'd be: smart, driven, committed. He's the future of this company and this family. Applause. Daniel stood, waved, sat back down. My mother spoke next about family, love, gratitude. She mentioned both Daniel and me, my 2 wonderful sons, but in that general way that means nothing. Then Daniel stood up. He hadn't told anyone he was speaking. He just stood, grabbed a microphone and started talking. I just want to say a few words about family and success, Daniel began. Dad, you taught me that success means building something real, something tangible, bricks and mortar, properties people can see and touch. He was a little drunk. I could tell from the way he swayed slightly. You taught me that real business takes real work, not just sitting at a computer playing around with code. He laughed. A few people laughed with him. Natasha's hand found mine under the table. I mean, let's be honest, Daniel continued. While I've been managing tens of millions in assets, learning the real estate business from the ground up, working 18-hour weeks, Marcus has been doing his thing, his little tech hobby. More uncomfortable laughter. My mother said, Daniel, maybe. No, it's fine. I'm not being mean, I'm just saying, we all know Marcus likes to play entrepreneur. He's got his pretend company in the garage. Daniel. My father's voice was sharp. Sorry. His startup. Whatever. The point is, there's a difference between building a real business like Chen Property and playing around with computers. The room was silent now. Saw to 80 people staring at Daniel, then at me. Daniel raised his glass. So here's to Dad, who built something real, and to all of us who understand what that means. He sat down. The room erupted in awkward applause and murmurs. I stood up. What would you do in this situation? Comment 1 if you'd leave immediately, or 2 if you do what I did next. Can I have the microphone? I asked the band leader. He handed it to me. Thank you, Daniel, for those words, I said. My voice was calm, steady. Since we're being honest tonight, I'd like to share a few things. My father's face went white. Marcus, this isn't. No, Dad, it's fine. Family should be honest with each other, right? I turned to face the room. Many of you don't know me well. I'm the younger son, the one who didn't join the family business. Daniel's right about that. Instead, 15 years ago, I started a company called Tech Vault Solutions with 2 partners. We started in a garage in Fremont with $15 in savings. I could see people pulling out their phones, Googling. For years, my family called it a hobby, a pretend company. And I let them because I was building something, and I didn't need their validation. Natasha was smiling now, just slightly. Tech Vault specializes in enterprise cybersecurity and data encryption. We've grown a bit over the years. We now have 340 employees across 3 cities. Last year, our revenue was $. This June, we finalized a strategic investment that valued the company at $2.53 billion. The Googling intensified. I could see people finding the Forbes article, their eyes widening. $2.5 billion. For reference, that's about 6 times the value of Chen Properties. My father stood up. Marcus, this is inappropriate. I'm almost done, Dad. I just want to address Daniel's point about real business. See, here's the thing. For the past 5 years, Chen Properties has had a contract with TechVault for comprehensive security management. That contract has been worth about $2 million annually to us, essentially a rounding error in our revenue. But to Chen Properties, it's been the difference between survival and bankruptcy. Daniel's face had gone from red to pale. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that your real business has been kept afloat by my pretend company since 2018. Your tenant retention, your property values, your only consistently profitable division, it's all based on TechVault's security infrastructure. I pulled out my phone and opened an email. In fact, I got an email from your CFO, Mitchell Palmer, just last week. I'll read it. Marcus, as we approach contract renewal, I want to emphasize how critical TechVault's services are to our operation. Frankly, we can't afford to lose you. Your systems are the only reason we've maintained tenant confidence through the market downturn. The room was dead silent. So Daniel, you're right. There's a difference between our companies. Mine is worth billions and employs hundreds. Yours is drowning in debt and survives on charity from your brother's pretend company. I set down the microphone. Congratulations on 40 years, Mom and Dad. I'm going to go now. Natasha and I walked out. No one stopped us. No one said a word. In the car, Natasha said, "Holy shit. Yeah. You okay?" "I'm perfect." My phone started ringing before we got to the freeway. My father, I declined. My mother, declined. Daniel, declined. A text from Daniel, "We need to talk. Now." I texted back, "I don't think we do." The next morning I had 47 missed calls and 89 text messages. I ignored most of them, but I read a few. From my father, "Marcus, you humiliated your brother and embarrassed this family. We need to discuss this in person immediately." From my mother, "I can't believe you would do this to your own family. We've always supported you." From Daniel, "You're dead to me." I laughed at that last one. Dead to him. I'd been invisible to him for 15 years. There was one text I did respond to though. From my grandmother, "I'm proud of you, Marcus. It was about time." I called her. We talked for an hour. She told me she'd always known they treated me differently. She told me she'd been furious at Daniel's speech, but had felt powerless to stop it. She told me she loved me and supported me completely. "Your grandfather would be proud," she said. "He always said the quiet ones surprise everyone." On Monday I had a meeting with Priya and James. "So," Priya said, "I'm guessing we're not renewing the Chen Properties contract." "Correct," I said. "Thank God," James said. "That contract has been a pain in the ass for years and they've been taking advantage of your family connection to underpay us." I drafted an email to Mitchell Palmer, Chen Properties CFO. Mitchell, this email serves as formal notice that TechVault Solutions will not be renewing our security management contract with Chen Properties when it expires on September 30th, 2026. We will provide the standard 30-day transition period to help you migrate to a new security provider. Our team will ensure all documentation and access protocols are properly transferred. Per our contract's termination clause, Chen Properties will no longer have access to TechVault's proprietary security software as of October 1st. This includes our blockchain encryption, threat detection systems, and integrated monitoring platforms. It has been a pleasure working with your team. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Best regards, Marcus Chen, CEO, TechVault Solutions. I CC'd my father and Daniel on the email. The response was immediate. My father called within minutes. "Marcus, you can't do this. We need that contract. The contract expires September 30th. I'm simply choosing not to renew because of what Daniel said. That's petty and vindictive." "No, Dad. It's business. You said it yourself. Real business means making smart decisions. This isn't a good contract for TechVault. We're undercharging by at least 50%, and the only reason we've maintained it is family loyalty. But apparently family isn't that important to you all. You're going to destroy us over hurt feelings." "I'm not destroying anyone. I'm ending a business relationship that doesn't make sense for my company. You're welcome to hire another security provider. I can recommend several excellent firms. They'll charge us triple what we're paying you. Then you're getting an incredible deal from us, aren't you? Maybe Daniel can use his 80-hour work weeks to negotiate something better." I hung up. Daniel called next. I let it go to voicemail. His message: "You're a vindictive piece of shit. You're really going to tank the family business because I hurt your feelings? Dad built this company for nothing. You're going to destroy his legacy to prove a point." I texted back, "I'm not destroying anything. I'm running my billion-dollar company and making business decisions that benefit my shareholders and employees. Chen Properties' problems aren't my responsibility. Good luck. My mother tried next. Marcus, please. Your father is beside himself. Daniel made a mistake. He'd had too much to drink. Can't you forgive him? Mom, this isn't about forgiveness. This is about business. TechVault has no obligation to subsidize Chen Properties indefinitely, but their family. Funny how family matters when you need something. The next week was chaos. My father tried to get our mutual attorney to intervene. Apparently there was some clause they wanted to invoke to force us to continue the contract. Their lawyer read the contract and told them there was no such clause. We had every right to decline renewal. Mitchell Palmer, the CFO, called me directly. Marcus, I want to be straight with you. Without TechVault's security systems, we're going to lose at least 30% of our tenants. We can't afford that. The company will go under. That's unfortunate, I said, but I'm sure there are other security providers. None of them do what you do. Your blockchain integration, your threat detection is proprietary. It's what makes our tenants trust us. Without it, we're just another struggling real estate company with aging buildings and too much debt. I understand. But this is a business decision. Marcus, I've worked for your father for 14 years. He's a good man who made some bad investments. Daniel is Daniel, but there are 23 other employees at Chen Properties who have nothing to do with your family drama. If the company goes under, we all lose our jobs. That one hit harder. I hadn't thought about the employees. Mitchell, I hear you. But TechVault can't be held hostage by Chen Properties' financial problems. We're not a charity. I know. I had to try. 2 weeks after the anniversary party, Forbes published a follow-up article. TechVault cuts ties with family business, highlighting tech's generational divide. The article detailed the party confrontation. Apparently someone had recorded it, and our contract termination. It painted me as the wounded son turning his back on his struggling family. The comments section was split, half saying I was justified, half calling me petty and vindictive. I didn't care. TechVault stock, we'd gone public in July, went up 4%. Apparently investors liked that we were eliminating underperforming contracts and focusing on high-value clients. In October, Chen Properties announced they were restructuring their security infrastructure. Translation: scrambling to find a replacement for TechVault. They hired Digital Fortress, a competitor we'd been outperforming for years. Digital Fortress charged them $2 for initial implementation, plus $1.9 annually for ongoing management, more than double what we'd been charging. Within 3 weeks of Digital Fortress taking over, 2 major tenants gave notice. The systems were buggy, the transition was rocky, and the tenants had lost confidence. In November, Chen Properties announced they were selling 3 underperforming properties to cover debt. The sales were at a loss, $7.3 million total shortfall. My father called me one last time. Marcus, I'm asking you as your father. Please reconsider. We'll pay whatever you want. We'll give you equity in the company. We'll make Daniel apologize publicly. Just please help us. Dad, I appreciate the offer. But no, I've spent 15 years being dismissed, minimized, and mocked by this family. I built something incredible despite you. Not because of you. I don't owe you my success or my company's resources. You're gonna let me lose everything? You're not losing everything. You're losing your business because you made bad decisions. That's not on me. Your brother was right. You're cold. I'm successful. There's a difference. We haven't spoken since. Chen Properties filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in January 2024. The company was restructured, my father forced into retirement, Daniel demoted to regional manager with a 60% pay cut. They sold 18 properties, including 3 that had been in the family for 30 years. The company survived, barely, as a shell of its former self. My parents had to sell their house in Atherton, the $5.7 million home they'd lived in for 21 years. They bought a condo in San Mateo for $1.1 million. Daniel and Vanessa separated in March 2022. Apparently, the financial stress and public humiliation were too much. She filed for divorce in April. Meanwhile, TechVault continued to explode. By the end of 2024, we'd acquired 2 competitors, expanded to Europe and Asia, and reached an annual revenue of $6 million. Our market cap hit $4 billion. Forbes ranked us 3 in most innovative cybersecurity companies in December 2024. The article called me the most successful tech entrepreneur you've never heard of until now. In January 2015, just a few weeks ago, we finalized our biggest deal yet, a $18 million contract with the Department of Defense to secure their data infrastructure. It was a 5-year contract with options to extend. Priya, James and I celebrated at Boulevard, the best restaurant in San Francisco. We toasted to 15 years of work, to proving everyone wrong, to building something that mattered. You know what's crazy? James said. If your family had supported you from the start, they could have invested early, they'd be billionaires now. Yeah, I said, but they didn't believe it was real business. We laughed. It felt good. My grandmother passed away last month. She was 87, lived a full life, died peacefully. At her funeral, I saw my parents and Daniel for the first time in over a year. We were civil, polite. My father shook my hand. My mother hugged me. Daniel nodded from across the room. After the service, my father approached me. Marcus, I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. You were right. We didn't see what you were building. We were wrong. I appreciate that, I said. Do you think could we maybe try to rebuild as a family? I thought about it, really thought about it. Maybe, I said. But it would take time, and therapy, and genuine effort from everyone. I understand. And to be clear, Tech Vault will never work with Chen Properties again. That ship has sailed. I understand that too. We're taking small steps. Monthly dinners, just the immediate family, a therapist who specializes in family dynamics. It's awkward and painful and necessary. Daniel is in his own therapy, dealing with the loss of his identity as the golden child, and facing the reality of his failures. He sent me an apology email last week. It was stilted and clearly written with therapeutic guidance, but it was something. I don't know if we'll ever be close. I don't know if I want that. But I'm willing to try, because my grandmother would have wanted it. If you've made it this far, thank you. If this story touched you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories like this. And remember, your worth is not determined by how your family treats you. Sometimes the best revenge is simply becoming who you were meant to be and letting the truth speak for itself. Tech Vault's market cap this morning, $14 billion. Daniel's current salary, $84,000 per year as a regional manager at the diminished Chen Properties. I'm not saying that to gloat. I'm saying it because for 15 years I was told my company was pretend. Turns out, the only thing that was pretend was their belief that their version of success was the only one that mattered. I'm Marcus Chen. I built a company worth billions from a garage with 2 partners and a dream, and I did it without my family's support, validation, or belief. That's not revenge, that's just reality.